We are here today to talk about the changes to the Lord portraits. They're terrible. They're trash. I hate them. But, human boy. Clearly you're not actually going to talk about that. Alright, fine. We'll talk about this friggin' thing. The Green God, Terracotta Sentinel. He's struggling. He's riding the struggy bus. I wonder if these replay titles might tell you what we're going to talk about today. Luther Harkon is one of the easiest things to talk about, so this Terracotta Sentinel says anything within a 55-meter range, where the blue glowing aura is, redirects projectiles back towards the firing unit. Well, Luther Harkon is a hybrid weapon infantry unit, so he shoots sometimes, kinda, and he has a sword. I noticed some weird interactions when I was dueling the Terracotta Sentinel with him, so I thought I would test it in slow motion. Well, not slow motion, sorry. I would test it on my own. So you can see here, he auto-fires. I didn't give him an attack order yet, so he fires at the Lord Magistrate. The Lord Magistrate takes damage, and the pistol shot hits the ground. And Luther's at full HP. No projectile comes back towards him, and he just takes damage. Okay, that's a little messed up, but alright. So that didn't actually redirect anything, because both targets took the damage of the missile, so I don't see what the point was, but okay. Then I tell him to shoot the Terracotta Sentinel directly. Terracotta Sentinel has 12,620 health. Luther's gonna fire. I just don't want to miss it. What's your health right now? You're regenning, so that makes it a little more annoying. There, he's leaning forward, so he's gonna fire. Bullet goes out. Luther doesn't take any damage, but the Terracotta Sentinel does. So the Terracotta Sentinel only blocks stuff attacking his friend. So you can see here, Luther now turns towards the Lord Magistrate. He fires. He's at 7,900 HP, and suddenly takes a chunk of damage. Now the Lord Magistrate does too, but so if Luther attacks the Lord Magistrate, he takes damage and the Lord Magistrate takes damage. If he attacks just the Terracotta Sentinel, just Terracotta Sentinel takes damage. So that's inconsistent and annoying to plan around, and Luther's well within the circle. It's not like he's not. So we move back a bit. Move to the very edge of the circle and shoot the Terracotta Sentinel just to see. I think Luther's taking damage again. No, he still didn't take damage, but that was a key moment, I think. I don't think the Lord Magistrate took damage anymore. I'm trying to remember. Yes, Luther's far enough away that the Lord Magistrate now doesn't take damage. He just reflects it into Luther. The Terracotta Sentinel still didn't do shit. But this guy reflects it back into Luther. And when I move closer, the reflection goes back to the other one where it hits him first, then reflects to me an invisible projectile. So it's like this guy, and we'll talk more about this later, but this guy, if you have a fast enough projectile, you can just hit the Terracotta Sentinel anyway. I don't know why it won't block for itself at any range, but it will block for the Lord Magistrate versus Luther specifically. I don't know what that's about, but something we'll notice throughout the whole video is if you're attacking the Terracotta Sentinel or something with a fast enough projectile, if you're from here to here, you're fine. And if you're outside the circle, obviously into infinity, you're fine. So really the reflection on certain bullet speeds only applies to like that range, which is worthless. So then I wanted to know if this was a Luther specific bug. So we got Chat and I were going through this at the end of a night stream, so a lot of these were Chat's ideas. But we have 2 handgun bats and 2 bomb bats. So we had tried miners with blasting charges. Nothing impressive there, just know that the miners fully reflected completely. It worked as it intended, and it deleted all the miners. So the bomber bats are now being ordered to throw. They're well within the circle of the Terracotta Sentinel. They throw, all their bombs are reflected. So we think the bombs... My handgunners are just free firing, but we'll get to that. The bombs are a slow enough projectile that they all get reflected appropriately. So the bomber bats do their normal thing. So now we have these handgun bats go up to the Terracotta Sentinel. They're shooting him. And he is taking damage, but he's also reflecting it, which is interesting and strange. But again, I think it's the ones in the very far back that shoot get reflected, and the other ones don't. But they're still getting their damage out. They're doing okay. So here's the last one. Now I'm controlling the Terracotta Sentinel. And this example really shows what's going on because the Luminarch of Hysh is so visible in its projectiles. Ignore the Hellstorm rocket battery. It was a fun thing we just wanted to do, and the Hellstorm's kind of buggy, so that's not what we're talking about. Now look at the Templehof Luminarch. It's at the very edge of my missile reflect. It shoots itself in the face, and it never hit the Terracotta Sentinel. That works as intended. Great, that works awesome. Again, ignore the Hellstorm rocket battery. It was there for fun, for chat, and we were just testing out some other things. But the Hellstorm ended up not having anything interesting to talk about. Nothing really there. Now the Templehof Luminarch is shooting, and it is just not on the edge. It's still pretty close to the edge of the reflect. Terracotta Sentinel health is 12,399. He gets shot. And he kind of tried to reflect the missile, but it didn't reflect back at the Luminarch, because we saw how much damage the first shot did, so if it reflected, it would have done a lot of damage. But it didn't. So the Luminarch, if it's not on the very, very edge of this circle, its beam just gets through. Which makes this, like, completely worthless. It's not a range of 55 meters. It's a range of 45 to 35 meters. Wait, no, sorry, 45 to 55 meters. Because if you're within the 45, you're going to be fine. Again, no reflection there, so he's just shooting me. As long as he's in my circle, he should be reflecting, but he's just too close, which too close for a lot of projectiles like bullets or the Templehof Luminarch. Too close is almost frickin' outside the circle. So he's just gadding me. So he's just shooting me. It's not even like I'm still, you know, why haven't you ended it yet, human boy? I just wanted to show you that it's not like an RNG thing. It is just a distance thing. It's the distance and the speed of the projectile, which makes this ability worthless. It only works against like bombs. I don't know, maybe arrows? Then there's kind of a funny interaction where the AI Templehof Luminarch decides to just follow me across the map, and it's very silly, and I was like, get off! Get off of me! Stop it! So I thought that was fun to include at the end of the video, where the Templehof Luminarch's like, come here, little bitch, come here, fight me, huh! And then he finally calms down. So then I'm gonna put him at like, towards the edge again. He's still a little bit inside of the edge, but this time he reflects himself, and actually does the big deletion. So yeah, ROR Terracotta Sentinel, don't take it for the projectile resist because it is extremely unreliable on when it is going to do what you need it to do. Just take it if you have a Terracotta Sentinel and you want stat buffs for some reason. But, yeah. Its missile reflect, super buggy. Super buggy. Alright, goodbye. Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.